I love those guys. Don't you love them? It's like my brother's dog. How are you guys?
No, we don't get rules today. Thursday.
What happens in Vegas? I'm planning to have lots of fun here. What's going on? Nothing? Nothing? It is Thursday. I brought my best friend with me because when you come to Vegas for work,
what
you
up,
should bring your best friend with you. Usually I take my kids. Not here. Yeah. So we already have questions? Okay. I usually start this and talk a little bit about myself. Maybe I'll just give you a little intro in case you haven't met me before. I'm Alaina. I play a little character called Avalon. I liked her. She was fun. And this was not really new to me. I've done a lot of genre stuff. I played a character called Black Canary. Smallville, a little show called Smallville. And I was on a show called Stargate. That was lots of fun. Yeah, and I love doing these things. I love being here. So I'm born in Canada, Vancouver. Yeah, the birthplace of Supernatural. And every other show in the world. That's where television is now, it's in Vancouver, or Toronto. And I live in LA, I have 4 children. That's my real job. I do a lot of laundry.
One sec, guys.
Dr. Mommy, I kiss booze. Yeah, when I'm not fighting bad guys or being a bad guy. Should we open it up? Let's do it. Let's get right. What's up?
Hello. My question was just the differences of playing Josie versus playing Abaddon, and if they were ever to do a Meta Letter spin-off, what you would like to see happen to Josie's character before everything went wrong.
Cool, I love that. You know, it was fun to play a character that had 2 different characters to her, and I really love the Josie character. And in fact, the episode Mother's Little Helper that Misha directed, I loved that they gave her a backstory and that you had an understanding of who Josie was and that she was sort of this, woman in a man's world and she was really trying to sort of break the glass ceiling. And so I love that because Avalon, even though I love the character, she was very one-dimensional and just to be the bad guy is really fun, but there's no layers. And so to find those layers, I found them in Josie. I think she was a very important part of bringing the Men of Letters, information and aspect to the show. And if there was a spin-off or if they decided to bring me back in any capacity, I think that's the more interesting character. She has all of that knowledge. I think she has all the passion behind it, and I think it's a more sustainable character. So yeah, if they did it, you can hire me. I'll dye my hair, whatever. Good. And then there was that beautiful love story between her and Henry. Thank you. I was like, Gil, my buddy. Yeah, and I actually think then she could work with the guys and give them that knowledge, right? That makes sense. Just saying. It's a show out there for me. If you guys around me, it'll be good. Thank you. Hello.
Good afternoon, gorgeous. My question for you is, there seems to be a lot of history between Cain and Abaddon. I was just wondering if you wish that your version of Abaddon could have had a few scenes with Timothy Almond's Cain, and what would that have looked like?
Yes. Because I loved him. I don't normally have hair envy. I got hair envy over there. I'm like, damn, why's your hair so good all the time? Yeah. That's the only reason I want to work with him. Little man bun he does. Top knot. It's not a man bun? Is that offensive? No, okay. It's just another term. Got it. Got it. Male hair dictionary. What would happen? I think it would be good, whatever it is. And you guys think, what would happen? What do you think? That is good.
Yes,
right?
it would be hot.
At least we always know in this show, whatever it is, it's hot. damn it, sexy. Right? They do it good on the show. That was ambitious sexy. So what do you think would happen?
No, I was just agreeing with the audience. It would be hot. I think it would be hot and sexy, and I think we would get a little bit more of a background between, their, a little bit more about their history, like what exactly happened between them and kind of why they had a falling out.
Right. Yeah. Love it. Back to the spin-off. Why not? Let's make another spin-off. Let's do 2 shows. It's fine. I'm fine. I like that. Thank you. Hey.
You talk about her and me. I'm having late ending right now.
I didn't break it. I actually, my legs kind of hurt. I want to sit down. Okay. Those rock star jumps really do you in.
So, a lot of celebrities, they're very, very reluctant to share much about their private lives on social media. And one of the things I've noticed is when you post pictures of you with your kids, and they're just really adorable. But did you ever feel any awkwardness when you first started about how much you wanted to share with the general public?
No.
Yeah, I'm there all weekend.
I think in general, I don't think you want to overshare with anybody ever. Anyways, I think that, they're an important part of my life, and there's aspects of my family that I do share, and there's a lot that I don't share. It's funny because every time I take a picture of my kids, they're like, are you going to post it? No, I'm not. Hey guys, I'm talking. Yes, we do. There's aspects of it that I share, and there's aspects that I don't. In fact, I think I had at one point on my Twitter, it was like actress, mother, blah blah blah, and my manager was like, maybe take that off. And I was like, what? So I think there's a consciousness in the industry to sort of maybe separate. I don't know. It's so much my life. I didn't start my career until I had my kids. And so it was sort of I grew my family at the same time as I grew my career, so I don't really know one without the other. And it's funny, a lot of my friends are like, I don't know how you do it, how you have a career and all those kids, and I'm like, I don't know how you don't. It's just kind of what I know, and I sort of have always just made it work, and it's not always easy. But I feel really blessed, I feel really fortunate. My kids have been all over the world at these things, they love them. They think they just get to come and have free food. That's what I think about work. They're like, we're going to do this at work today? We get lots of donuts, right? I'm like, yeah, and I have to work. But, okay.
What, is there a problem? Something wrong?
I don't know, it's just part of my life, yeah. So, thanks. Hi.
Hello. I love this album. My question is about Siri. I'd like to hear about a funny or memorable moment you had while you were working with the cast.
Oh my gosh. Supernatural aside, Stargate was one of the best experiences of my life. Yeah, it really was. It's such a beautiful thing to walk onto a set and to feel like you're got. I feel really blessed. I felt that in a lot of my work environments. Smallville was another big, beautiful family that you kind of just walk onto. And I came to Smallville in season 7, and so they had really established the crew and the cast and grown together. Stargate, even though it was a new show, the crew had been together for 15 years, or 12 years, 15 seasons. And a lot of them came from other shows that all together as a crew. So you literally walk into this big, beautiful family, and you kind of just feel like you can't fail.
Yeah, sorry, I'm also really far away. I'm just
We
zoomed
were
in.
welcome for the fans, the Stargate Universe franchise. So I remember going to work and people were protesting outside the studio. They're like, we hate you, go home. And I was like, I just want to meet my family. Thank you. Okay. And then they warmed up after the show was canceled, but that's a whole other thing. It was really fun. But the cast, we still get along. I mean, I talked to Louis, who played Colonel Young. He's Papa Smurf. I talk to him all the time. He's one of my best buddies. We're all really close. Meg Nas, a really, really beautiful friend of mine, and I talk with her all the time. She's on that little tiny show, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And so happy when my friends are working and happy. I So I do have a funny memory though. The first 3 episodes was the pilot. We shot them as a pilot, but they were 3 separate episodes. It took almost a month to film that sequence of AR 1, 2, and 3. And if you remember, Colonel Young gets like thrown through the gate, and then he's knocked out unconscious. And my character is the medic who doesn't think she can do anything. She drove me nuts. I was like, can this chick get it together? I called her crybaby. She was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so annoying. But I learned a lot from her in the end, which was really good moment for me. So the whole first 3 episodes, I was literally sitting over him while he was unconscious. And I didn't really have much else to do in the pilot. And Louis was unconscious the whole time. And of course, we're all getting to know each other. And Louis is a big kid. And so he had a fart machine. I'm not kidding. We were 5 years old for a month. It was so funny. We just be sitting there talking and he's pressing the fart machine. And just to see people's reactions. Some people would be nothing happened. I'd be you're nasty. We laughed for a month. It was so fun. And then he actually would fart. If you're in a bed scene or something, he'd totally butt shoving you. It's so fun when you work with guys. I didn't have brothers growing up, and I'm oh my god, there's a whole aspect of dudes that I have no idea. Thank God. It was an education. Yeah. Thank you. It was fun. That was a good memory I just relived. Thanks for that.
Hi. So you mentioned all the young children. If you could pick one genre show, what would be present or past?
I always say that's picking my favorite kid. It depends on the day. Depends on who slept really well last night. I really, really, truly loved Alaina. I felt like she was such a gift to me. Not just in the moment. I actually thought, the first episode, okay, this is how I got the job. So forgive me if you've heard this story because I've told it before, but basically, you get your auditions, this is the funny thing about being an actor. You just kind of get your auditions 85 other auditions you've done, and it's just 85 other auditions until you get the job and change your life. And you're oh, that was a really important email. I didn't know it at the time. So I got the email for this, and my first reaction, I was Supernatural. That show's still on. Okay. So,
do you want this or the stage?
I thought it was on a long time, but because if I'm demographically right for a show, I should have read for it for 5 seasons.
Actually, that's behind. Never mind.
I was pregnant most of that time, so that happens. So when I got that shocked me. And then my audition scene, I remember so clearly. It was 3 pages. And I was talking to my mom on the phone, and I'm kind of looking over it. And it was for a couple hours later, 7 o'clock in the afternoon or early in the morning, rather. And I'm reading it, and I was this is ridiculous. So if you remember the first episode I come on, I get stabbed in the back, I get shot in the face, and then I get my head chopped off. That was my audition scene. Those are 3 different scenes, I condensed them into one.
Yeah, I'm going to stick to this, because otherwise the audio and video won't be in
How am I
sync.
going to do this? You're not in the scene and with bloody stuff and whatever, and with other actors. You're in a tiny room, there's 3 producers sitting on a couch, and you're don't cut my head off, or whatever. It's really that ridiculous. But I went and I did it, and I got the job, and I was okay, this is the job, I'm the monster of the week, and I died. And then they brought me back. And I was wow, this is really cool. And then when they brought me, then I was well, I'm dead because they burned me. And Mark was oh no, they burned all of us. I was oh really? So then they called me back for the next season. And then I think they killed me a couple more times. Definitely one more time. There was a lot of killing. But it was fun. One of my favorite still shots of the show is my head lying on the floor in a pool of blood. And my daughter Charlie, she's 6 now, but she was 5 at the time, or 3 at the time. She's Mama, you're so beautiful. What happened to your head? I was you must be so confused. Thank God I have good insurance. her character because it was a secret. I didn't know it was a secret. And I have this scene with Lois, like Eric's character. And so I'm in the audition, and they call me, and they're like, "You have the job, but it's a top secret character, and they're not going to tell you who it is." And I was like, "Well, how do I prepare for the job?" And same thing, I thought it was one episode. And so they called me back a few hours later, they're like, "Okay, but it's top secret, if it gets out, like, you're in it." I'm like, "Okay, because it said it's the Black Canary," and I didn't know what the Black Canary was. So I Googled her, and my first thing was like, I have to wear that. Like the old 60s look, it's kind of like this. I got very comfortable in it, with the heels and everything. It's like a bustier thing, and I was like, I've had 2 kids. At the time I had 2 kids. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to fight in that thing. I fought that thing. And my favorite thing is to be like, we have to take that again, guys. My heel got caught in my fishnets. Because that happens. But she's a cool character, and she was, I think, really unknown. I mean, she was known in the genre, in the comic book world, but in the pop culture world, I don't think she was as popular as she is now, thanks to the little bit that they portrayed her on Smallville. And now, of course, with Arrow, she's this big, beautiful character, and Katie Cassidy kills it. And she's, to me, a really important character just as a woman. Like, she's strong, she's smart, she's confident, she's got this like lovesick thing with the Green Arrow, and you're like, girl, get over him, but then you kind of understand it, you're like, well, it's him. Right? She's just a woman. I love her. So then.
She's so fucking delicious.
Hello.
Hi.
I actually am wondering, since you portray a lot of strong women, specifically for Abaddon, is there any women sewing hormones? Something like that?
I love that. I didn't take any inspiration for her. Adam Glass wrote my character for the most part of the show, and he was really great at communicating what he wanted the character to portray. And so I had a great communication with him ongoing, and I didn't feel like I needed to look elsewhere. But yeah, I mean, strong women throughout history, whether they're leaders or spiritual, you take like a Mother Teresa or Margaret Thatcher or
an axe murderer.
Who the first Nobel Peace Prize went to. And there's these beautiful women in history that I think we can celebrate. Was that International Women's Day? I like it. Yeah, so I like strong women.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Out of all of the women characters or characters that you portrayed, what is the most fun or best makeup and costume design that you got to wear?
Stargate was definitely the most comfortable. I was like, ooh, I don't even have to suck in. Except for I was pregnant on that show, and that wasn't fake, that was my real pregnancy. That's the best way to start a job, by the way. Like, I got pregnant during the pilot, and I had to call the producers into my room, and I was like, so I was not feeling well this weekend. And Rob, the producer, was a big smile on his face, like, well, congratulations. And so they wrote it in. So that costume was really comfortable. I didn't do a lot of stunts. They were so respectful of the fact that I was pregnant. Black Canary was really fun. I love Justin Hartley. You guys know Justin Hartley? So I got to work mostly on that show with Justin, and he's a friend of mine. He's hilarious. He hated the Green Arrow costume. He had a hood on his costume. So whenever he was in that costume, he couldn't hear. He was so grouchy. He'd be like, what? I was like, listen, old man. Yeah, and we always used to joke. He's like, why don't you meet me at the hotel later in the hotel bar in your costume, and I'll be in my costume, and then we walk in, I'm going to be like, you are ridiculous. Oh my gosh, he's so I miss Justin. He's so fun. That was definitely not a comfortable costume. Like, you have to remember, when you work with 200 crew members, 90% of them are men. And they're all wonderful and respectful when you work with them. But they're still dudes, and you're walking around with your butt hanging out. It's like, so that's weird. So you put your big jacket on. And then, they're really practical on that show. Like, do you ever notice they always wear their jackets? Like, even in summer. Like, guys, isn't it hot? It's really good in winter, but in summer, it gets a little hot. But I did like that costume. And she's a good cosplay, right? Yeah. So, what was the question? It's Vegas. What's wrong with me? What characters do I like dressing as?
Like those fun.
Yeah, all of them. They're all fun. I get to go to work and play with my friends and dress up. It's the best. Like sometimes they leave you in your trailer. Like one time I think for Supernatural they called me in really early, like too early. And I think I was in my trailer literally like 6 hours. And Jensen comes up to me and he was like, "I am so sorry." I was like, "For what?" He was like, "I mean, you've been in your trailer all day." I was like, "I had a nap. I read a book. I talked to my mom. This is the best day of work ever." I didn't change a diaper. I didn't have to make snacks. So good. I'm gonna do this every day. Hi.
Hi. I really loved you both as Black Canary and as Abaddon, and I was wondering if you could kind of compare this with them, because they both had powers and things they used like that, and they both like leather and
As all good girls do. I don't know if they're comparable. I think that, again, I feel like the Black Canary is, maybe because she's been around a long time, she's been written so many different ways by so many different, and drawn by so many different artists, and written by so many different authors. I feel like she's a really solid character. Like, she is a woman. She's strong, she's focused, she has purpose, she's vulnerable, she's weak, she's emotional. Like, she's such a great character. And like I said, I'm so glad that we're getting to know her in pop culture now, because I think she's powerful. She's not just, like, pretty. She's awesome, right? And she screams. It's funny, because I used to sort of be embarrassed about that. People are like, "What's your superpower?" I was like, I scream. But it hurts you a lot. It's supersonic. Scream. Yeah. She also kicks your ass. Just saying. And she rides motorcycles. I mean, come on. And likes leather. I wish Abaddon had a motorcycle. Right? Can someone fanfic that and send it to me?
You know what to do.
A Harley? Yeah. I don't think they're comparable, but I think they're both awesome.
thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, you mentioned working while you're pregnant, and I was curious, in general, women in the industry, they occasionally do get pregnant, they're on a show. Yeah. How does that generally work? Like, you're on a show.
How do you get pregnant? I did figure it out, by the way. It took me 4 children, but I figured it out.
Like, you have a contract, and your character cannot get pregnant, or for whatever reason, how do they generally?
Yeah. Well, they used to see it unfavorably, and they used to fire you, and I think it was one of the Charlie's Angels sued Spelling Television because she got fired because she was pregnant, and since then, nobody will touch it. They're like, "You're pregnant? Great, we're going to write it in. You're not going to sue us, and we're not going to lose everything. We'll just make you walk on the bosses." I did that for a few episodes. We shot the episodes sort of out of sequence. So if you go back and watch the show, like, there's a lot of times where I'm framed out, like here, talking to someone. I was like, "Yeah, that episode shot after that, and my belly was big." They actually, I think almost all the women were pregnant at one point on Stargate. And so they were very used to dealing with that, and they did have a little backlash, if I'm not mistaken. So they were very careful to be they were very gracious to me. I'm so grateful for that experience. Thankfully, I had really good pregnancies, and, at first I was a little embarrassed, honestly. I was a little like, "Ooh, what's going to happen?" And then I sort of was like, I'm a full-grown woman who's married. I'm not sorry. Right? And the timing worked out really good. I mean, I had a baby in our hiatus. It was like I couldn't have planned it any better. I think we wrapped in, like, right before baby in December, and we didn't come back till March. So they wrote in my pregnant, and they wrote in her baby, and this was beautiful. I'm very grateful for this. So at the end of the season, if you remember, I get shot. And he once said, wardrobe had set me up with like blood all over my belly. And Andy Makita was directing that episode, and he goes, no, take her back there and less blood. He was really emotional about it, and so they made it less obvious. And I said to Brad and Rob in the first season, I was like, what's going to happen? And he said, we'll talk about fictional babies when healthy babies are born. Yeah, it was, I felt really, really good about it. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, I couldn't have had a better experience. Yeah. And like I said, I figured out there's more questions. Yeah, so it's, I do get that question a lot, and I do have a lot of friends who are like, I can't believe, you're able to have a career in your family, and like I said before, it's not always easy, but I don't think it's easy for anyone, and I feel really lucky and fortunate that I've had the experience of raising a family and growing my career, and to me, my personal life is a beautiful escape from my work, and my work is a beautiful escape from my personal life, and so, very rarely they intertwine like these events. It's really me, and but it's I feel really balanced, integrated, healthy. Yeah. Sorry.
I was wondering what it was like to film your big fight scene at the end with Jensen has off the head. How much of that was acting and putting in special effects? What that was like?
Which time he killed me? He had it out for me, that one. The very last one. So that was a really long day. It was a Monday, we shut out on a Monday, and usually how filming works is you start on the Monday really early, like a 6 a.m. crew call, which means actors are in like an hour and a half early for makeup and hair and everything, especially girls. So I got picked up at 4:30 in the morning that Monday, and I made a terrible mistake the night before having coffee with my dad and walking around the seawall. I didn't sleep very well. But anyway, so I got picked up really early, and we shot Jensen's side first. It did take all day just to shoot that scene. And they had him on the wires, and he had to be pulled back. And so we shot all that, and then I think it was after lunch they got to me, and you have to put your costume on, your gear to go on the wires. And when this happens, it looks really great on camera, but it's so not organic to acting. It's very sort of cumbersome, and it's part of what we do. But if you think about it, so he comes at me with the knife, and then I'm hoisted up. So when the director calls action, then the stunt coordinator takes over, and he directs 4 guys to then lift me up. But it's like this sort of telephone communication. So you hear people whispering. Meanwhile, you're on camera and you're in the moment. And so they lift me up, and at this point, it was on Jensen's coverage, but I'm aware that there's wires in his face. So I'm like holding the wires out so they can get a good shot of him. We probably did like 2 or 3 takes of that. And Rosie, the camera guy, who was right behind me, he was like, hey, that hurts, right? And I was like, what? He was like he stabs you, that hurts? And I was like, oh my God, I forgot to act. And I was so conscious of all the stuff going on, I can act. I was like, oh yeah, I should scream or something. So the next take I screamed, and I think it worked. So embarrassing. I'm so unprofessional. So then Jensen later was like, can we just try something? He's like, we got all that, that's good. Especially if you remember the way they shot it was the wide through the bedroom doorway. So that it shows me like floating in the air on his knife like that. And it works for that. But then little stuff, he was like, let's just try. Let's just take you off the wires, just squat on an apple box, and then that's what we did. And sometimes, simple is better. So that's happened a lot, actually, where you try and sort of overthink things and everybody gets involved, and it all is for the greater good, but sometimes it's a little better. Keep it simple. Yeah. Thanks. But it was fun. It was fun shoot. Back over you. Okay.
This is your favorite side. Yeah.
Right? Would I have something? Or the last one?
So my question is still in that kind of
shit out of Mark. Wasn't that the best? It was so funny. Yeah. You wanted to know about that?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's an old Colt. It's heavy. I don't know if y'all shoot, but it's heavy. I've done a lot of shooting. And the director is very stylized, PJ. He's like, wouldn't it be great? Like, you're so, like, stealthy and cool. He's like, you just kind of pick it up with your left hand and shoot with your hip. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool, got it. And then I was like, no, I can't, I'm not left-handed. so I said to the weapons guy, I was like, just cock it. And he's like, it's gonna be a hairpin. I'm like, yeah, no, I got it, I'm fine. The first take, it worked. He reset it, he put it in the drawer, and I reached without looking, and I pulled the trigger, and I went, oh. And Mark was like, whoa! I'm so glad he was on camera for that. That was hilarious. And then my first thought was like, oh my god, I hope you guys have insurance, because I just totally destroyed that drawer. I mean, there's no real bullet, but it's, gunpowder, and it made a mark, and I think Mark was like, she's trying to kill me, get rid of her. I was like, if I was trying to kill you, I would use my hands. But we agree. Another funny Mark story. So, you remember the scene one of the other times I died? Where they burned me, whatever. It was the last episode of one season. Anyway, I'm like punching him in the chair, and so he's like chained to the chair, and one of the other camera guys, Brad, and we're walking around with a deadly counter. So all the crew is taking turns punching Mark in the face. It was really fun. I loved it. And I mean, I say it jokingly because I love Mark, but it was he's so good. He's so in the moment, and he loved it. He was like, I'm going to tip over. I'm like, no, you don't have to. He's like, no, I'm going to. It's going to be great. They're like, we're not going to see it. He's like, it's going to be good. And I think they ended up using it, but they think like they wanted to protect him. He's like, no, I'm all the way in. So, that was fun. It's always fun to be shit Mark. I think they should bring back just for that purpose. Right?
Thank you. And I just want to say the gag rules are the best, so I'm glad you're doing it.
I'm so glad I made it. It was funny. Because they don't prank me. Everyone asks me if they prank me. I dare them. I know I'm asking for it. I'm going to get it one day. It's going to probably be really embarrassing. But anyways, I'm glad I made it real. Hi.
I actually watched that gag reel episode very, very late at night one time. I had my headphones in. When the gun went up, I freaked. That's very sad. So I can imagine how it was for you. My question was, and it's quite well known for very, very interesting photo ops with our actors.
Yeah.
I was wondering what's the strangest pose or costume or pose that you've done with them before.
I do a lot of Charlie's Angels. I don't like Charlie's Angels. I haven't had too many weird requests. I've had more interesting experiences, like in a photo op one time, this woman was in Wales. She came up to me, and as she's walking to me, you kind of approach, hey guys. She was like, oh, I hope we don't get you sick. Me too. And this other time, I don't know if Mark told me this, but Mark and I were posing for a photo with this woman, and she was like shaking. And he's like, it's all right, love. She's like, I'm just trying not to shit myself. She didn't. She may have it all, at least not that I am aware of. I did not wash her clothes that night. I haven't had too many odd, nobody's asked me to wear tutus. I think you have to be like Jared and Jensen for that. Do you wear tutus? This thing's on?
If you asked me to, I would. Let me tell you something. I find it weird that you haven't had odd requests for photos because I feel like...
Only from Rich.
That's daddy's business. Speaking of odd photos, I'm very excited for our very first ever, the very first time I'm ever going to get a chance to fake hang all over Alaina. Because we're doing photos for karaoke.
Yeah.
So we lost a couple of the dudes, and I'm like, that's great. It's a sausage fest anyway. So we have Brianna and Kim and me. Quite frankly, I don't give a ball if anybody signs up for the photo or not. I bought all out. I'm probably number about 60 or 70 of these things. And I know that the band will be in line, creeping.
Yeah.
So
on our side.
But I feel like that you would get, I mean, maybe not creation, but you do a lot of concert other shows. Because you've been in the genre world. You must get some creepy dudes who ask you, like, propose to me, or something.
Shade.
They're scared of you, that's why.
Sometimes can I have a kiss or something?
Sure.
Yeah. Not that weird. Y'all aren't that weird.
That's not. You're not that weird, although I did have, and the young lady knows who she is, I did have a young lady dressed as it's either a unicorn or a lamb, and get on all fours and have me mount her. and ride her like a pony.
Was that from your episode? From Jenny's episode?
No, it wasn't. You would think. I think she may have been maybe not a unicorn, maybe a sheep. I don't know what the hell it was. I know she's a very nice girl. She's a lot of fun. She was all dressed up.
She was a unicorn.
Are
you here?
Wasn't from.
Hey, calm down, buddy.
Are you here?
You're the best. I'm so doing that to Rich tomorrow night.
Come here. No, you really? Thank you. Come here. Are you playing? Are you coming here? Are you refusing to come here? Come on upstairs. I tell this story a lot. He's looking at you galloping music. Thank you. Remind me your name. Alexis. I'm Richard. That's Alaina. That's Alaina. People ask me, I always ask me the question, what's the oddest photo of you? I say always. There's now I'll say Alexis.
Were you a unicorn or a sheep? Okay.
Why? It's not, you had a legitimate question. Was it about my episode? It was not.
No.
So what inspired the unicorn?
It was on the show before.
The farting unicorn?
Yeah, and it was where rainbow was going on my butt.
Like you do.
Like you do.
And that, he got on top.
Like he does.
Like he does.
Oh, they did that. So I didn't have to write you. Matt wrote you? I feel better about this. You know what? In my dreams, I role-played I was Matt. It's so weird. As I've retold
so much about you.
As I've retold the story 100 times, I become Matt. I remember I was shirtless, I was ripped, and I was riding around. And there was a portly Matt Cohen standing nearby.
I love it.
You, just my imagination.
Oh, really?
Another unicorn?
No, I'm not the unicorn, someone else will be the unicorn.
Are you
How do you dress as?
I'm the mermaid.
The mermaid.
Yes.
That was so good.
That's awesome.
Is that the one who was all over her face?
No, that was Sparkle. The unicorn.
Sparkle's on her face.
It reminded me of your dance club days. Thank you for coming out here. Alexis right there. Okay, so.
I want to see that photo. Can you show it to me?
Okay, right there. So the other, look, thank you for coming to my Q&A. No, but the other, another photo, that thing I thought was really funny about a photo op, is it that lady came to me and said, would you be okay? You know, some people bring like a drawing or something of the posing for a photo. Would you be okay?
Karma Sutra book.
My eyes don't do that. Would you be okay doing this? And I looked at the picture and I was like, yeah, no, yes, I'm gonna have to. I have a family. I'm gonna say no. And say no. But the funny part wasn't that she showed me a picture and asked me to do it. It was a picture of her in a photo already doing it with Misha. So what I thought was a pose too far. With Misha doing it. Well, God bless him, but talk about a random act. I'm gonna pass.
Were you the feature role?
Yeah, I was gonna do the beach part, and I felt like he did it so well.
Right.
That I would
You
never
couldn't
pass.
top it. That he doesn't have the same moral code as you.
No, that didn't happen weird. You have another question, so I interrupted. So go take your question.
What? Yeah. Hi.
Hi. I was wondering, you shot a few scenes where you were like dismembered and had Michelle had an amnesty. Was that weird or was it fun? When you like dug the bullet out of your own soul?
Yeah, it was awesome. I like the like one of my favorite lines. I loved how like campy she was, and the lines when you read them on paper they're kind of dumb. You're like, I'm gonna stump you to death. But it was hilarious. It's like, I'm gonna stump you to death. It's so fun. Which had nothing to do with my hands, it's the fact that they weren't on my body. And then the hand was actually a hand model. And then when it got to my shoulder, I took over because the director was like, I don't think you want some random chick's hand in your mouth. I was like, what you don't know?
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
Wow.
Hold on, you haven't seen
You don't speak for me.
You haven't seen the photo of it. Damn right I want that in my mouth. Hold on, I think it's fine.
Woo! Yeah.
How dare they tell you what you're into?
Yeah. Gosh. Thank you. Do we one more?
Yeah.
Hi.
So,
It's a dude!
Is there a dude song?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. There's a dude over there, he's asking a question. We're all thrown off because we're not used to tell the show and I'm really want to take. We like it that way. Like it all the way after I'm get out of here because you're the man. For the husband, the boyfriend, and pay for all of this. We're gonna say the thing for Christmas. We need you to stay, and you are going to pay.
That's amazing.
That's what it's like to be serious by Rich.
I'm going to Disney in July to actually do some auditions for possibly High School Musical 4. But I was just wondering what kind of tips you need.
Honestly, and it sounds like a cliche answer, but it's the truth. And the longer I'm in the business and the more experience I have, the truer it becomes. Have fun. I mean, it's what we do. It's such a blessing to do what we do and to love the work. And I think you truly only love it when you enjoy it. So if it becomes all heady and like they're gonna hire you, whether they're hiring you, and I think you just go in there and have fun. Yeah. So break while you do dance and sing and yeah. Do it.
Wait a minute.
Have fun.
Here we go. You're gonna dance right now. He's ready to be online. Everybody will be right now.
Sleep without Rob.
He's 30 minute dances for those shorts. Boom! He gave us a move. I like that. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck, buddy.
Bring leg.
This is the part of the job that I hate. Oh, we tickled ourselves, everybody. That's okay, because no one will tickle us for us. Listen. This is Thursday. This is just starting. And this is how we start. This is how we keep it going. This is what we like. You know what we like? We like ourselves. Some Thursday people. And we like ourselves.
My arms are really tired.
What a way to start! What a way to start! Alaina, so much fun, so great. Here all weekend, party girl extraordinaire. I know, I love that about you, that you're here.
So many heads.
I can't see or hear you, but I sense you. That's the doorknob wearing sunglasses. None of these work my advantage. I say we keep it going. What do you say? I happen to be a big fan of this dude. We've hung out in many cities, including Rome.
You'll see me soon.
And I haven't seen him in a long time.
Of course.
Ladies and gentlemen.
You'll see us again soon.
Brian Kelly! That I broke my mic stand. I have a rich